All right, let me say this once more. Good morning,
Good
North
morning.
Texas. I refreshed it and I had everything set up, and then I didn't open our screen back up so you could see that we are on the radio. You could hear us on the radio, but you couldn't see us if you're watching on one of our watching platforms, if you're a watcher. I'm Tiffany Carlen with Red, aka Sarah Reeves, and two amazing guests, Kimble and not Trish Fitzgibbons. If you don't know her, if you haven't seen her around Johnson County, it kind of sounds like you'd be um you blind.
Yes.
Like she
Yeah.
gets around. She gets around because you're locally with your own Edward Jones office. I'm gonna pull that to you so everybody can hear you
Yep.
really well. So everybody say good morning.
Good morning.
morning.
Thanks
We-
for having us.
We are here. I'm so glad that you are and you're so good about reaching out going, I'm here. Are we going to do this again? Yeah, we're going to do this again. And what we're doing is, and because you guys are coming, this is your 5th year
Mhm.
doing the Hope Encounter Women's Conference.
correct.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah,
And
we're
it-
excited.
And it has great purpose behind it. So for those that have never attended a Hope Encounter Women's Conference, tell everybody what this is. What's it about?
Do you want to take that question?
No, I'm going to let you take
Okay.
that question.
Well, wow, where do I start? Hope is obviously every person has needed hope at some point in their lives. You know, I heard a pastor once say that every person is either going into a trial, getting out of a trial, or in the middle of a
Yep.
trial.
That's so true.
And so hope is what sustains us to get to the what we're expecting from God. And all of his promises, all of our prayers are not in vain. It's just the waiting period. And that should be filled with hope that he will answer. And he will come through for
He's
us.
always on time. Just
Yes, he
our
is.
bills might not be paid on time, but he's on time.
And it's not, he doesn't always answer like we think he will.
Absolutely.
You know, but he does rescue us. And so hope is just, we wanted to bring hope to the community, and where Tris and I can minister is to women, because we are one, you know.
Right.
And so so that was kind of the vision, is to reach the community, the women in the community, all ages, all backgrounds, all denominations. We are not a denomination. We just started. In fact, our committee is made up of
Three of us originally, I guess, of different denominations.
Yeah.
And then we're 12 now, maybe.
Yeah.
Somewhere right around there
Yeah.
with the committee
uh-huh.
to keep this thing running and going.
Mm-hmm. Takes
every
a lot
year.
of work. And
Yeah.
we do it once a year, and we take July and August off, but then September we're planning again and going for it. So
That's awesome.
And originally it started out as a one-day event, right? Originally the very first one?
No, it's
Or
always
was
been
it always the two?
Yeah, it's been Friday night and Saturday morning. So really it's not a full day either day. It's just a Friday night and a Saturday morning.
Right.
Cool.
And not a full weekend. So it doesn't take your whole weekend.
Right.
You still can get things done with the family or whatever you
Sure.
want to do and still attend this and take care of yourself as a woman, because we don't do that.
That's
Right.
This is very true. And this year it is Friday, June 7th and Saturday, June 8th. Friday, dinner will be provided. Food trucks will be on site between 5 and 7 p.m. And then the event starts at 7 p.m. Goes till roughly
Usually 9:30. And the food trucks are new this year. We're trying something new, you know, it's trial and error. But we're doing like the after party pre session.
right.
The food trucks and the shopping and all of that takes place 5 to 7. And Pathway is so accommodating, you know, with this event. I mean, we're not a Pathway event, but they allow us to come in, and so we don't want to abuse their staff and make them stay real late. Last year
Sure.
they, you know, I mean, it gets to a point where they've got to say, okay, we got to close down, you know. So we thought we'd do all the fun, get the pictures taken, the food eaten, the shopping done, and then when the session is over about 9 or so, they can go, you know, go home.
Yeah, because
And-
it's hard to get women to stop talking sometimes, and
yes.
and especially when you go to an event like this, because it's all about the unity and
And encouraging everybody.
right, a spirit of hope and
Yeah.
all of that. So it's once you get into that realm, it's kind of hard to
Mhm.
slow it down and back it up.
True.
And so I completely
Yeah.
get that. And by the way, I'm glad you said that about Pathway, because they are a great friend of the community
yes.
in general.
Absolutely.
I don't know if they've ever said no to an event of this type, whether it's whether it's encouraging, whether it's for women, whether it's for anything. They've just been they've been one of the best churches in this area to be just such a great friend to events like this, and they have a great
They're amazing.
true giving spirit.
They do.
They really do.
Mhm.
So Saturday, the venue opens at 8 a.m. and breakfast will be provided. And then the event starts at 9 a.m. and runs until
Probably 12:30. Maybe we must be out of the venue by 1. So we try to schedule 12:30. But we also want to give people freedom, the speakers, freedom. They'll speak about probably 40 to 45 minutes each. So,
and tickets are cost effective. They're $65
Right.
for an event like this. That's
Right.
very, very cost effective.
yes.
That's very, I hate the word. I don't want to use the word cheap, because it's not a cheap event. There's so
No.
much value in it. Talk about the speakers. Who is speaking this year?
So we have some amazing speakers, and one of the speakers has actually been there before. She was there 2 years ago, and her name is Sarah Connor, and she's originally from Kingston, Jamaica. So she has that wonderful, catchy accent that everybody loves to listen to. And we also have Laurel Bunker and Jill Monaco, and then our local. We usually bring in local talent as well, is Rochelle Smithy, which she co-pastors with her husband, North Elevation Church in Mansfield.
Okay.
So anyway, so those are our amazing speakers. And Laurel comes from, she has some very impressive background and designations and things like that. But she is from St. Paul, Minnesota. So,
Oh, yes.
mhm.
My husband's home state.
Oh, wow.
That's a great place. At 25 years. So Laurel was 25 years. She's been a pastor for over 25 years.
Yes.
And she's a leader in fields of higher education, nonprofit business management, and church leadership, and para church ministries. So she's also a writer
Mhm.
and sought after minister of gospel as well. So I mean, this sounds like she's gonna pack a
She's
powerful
amazing.
punch.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
So are each of them speaking on something very specific to and unique to their own experiences?
So, yes, we give them complete freedom to bring whatever message they want, but
Whatever they feel the Lord leads
yes,
them.
the Lord leads them. And our theme this year is choose joy. So they will probably most likely,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've designed it around, joy, choosing
That's
joy.
awesome.
So,
or hope,
or
whichever.
hope, right.
Yeah.
I
but
think
joy-
myself happy.
Yeah,
Right,
and
yeah,
joy
that's
and
awesome.
hope, that's two different things. I mean, and really choosing, it is a choice. You're absolutely right. In
right.
fact, I think I just posted something on our Facebook page. I began the week out that way, which was a message of be happy. You have to think happy. You have to be happy
Mhm.
and live happy. And if you're living in joy, and sometimes that's a forced, you have to force that sometimes, and wake up, look in the mirror and go, I'm going to choose joy today, no matter what happens.
Right.
And, experts will tell you, if you're feeling crappy or you're feeling down, look in the mirror and laugh at yourself.
Mhm.
And when you get into that laughing spirit, then you actually start laughing, like really laughing at yourself. And I don't know if you've ever done that
Mhm.
practice.
Oh,
Yes.
And
You get tickled.
you get
it-
tickled
it
because you're
becomes
like, I look
natural
so
then.
stupid. If somebody
Yeah.
walked in here right now, they'd be like, what's wrong with you?
Right. Right.
But it actually, when you get to that smiling place, and
It's contagious.
it is contagious, and it's but it's definitely challenging for some people to choose that. Chronic pain is one of those things that
Right.
absolutely
Right.
drags you down.
Right.
And I mean, we can talk about so many different things that drag you down,
Right.
but what's your focus?
Yes, and you're right about it being a choice. And I heard someone actually compare it to joy and happiness. They really are different. Happiness is, based on your circumstances, whereas joy is something
You have
that
on
you
the
choose
inside,
to
yeah.
live.
Mhm.
You choose to live out, and because we know we're in a culture, we're in a world that's there's going to be things that is not very happy at
Right,
times.
right.
but we know who we are, and we know who we serve, and so that's joy.
Right.
That's the
Right.
joy that
Yeah.
comes.
Tris, when did you have you been with it since the beginning? Since
I
5
have.
years ago?
Yes. Yes.
What do you think was your motivation in saying yes to Kim?
Oh, that's simple. so God basically already had told me before Kim came and presented to me that you're going to be doing something more with women. I had been asking, what is next, God? What do you want me to do next in the community, in life and so forth? And he said, I want you to still be with women. I want you to do something with women. And basically, I want you to give women hope and encouragement. And so Kim called me one day at the office and just said, hey, can I come talk to you about something? And I said, sure, come on in. And as soon as she came in and said, God's been putting this on my heart, this conference that we need to put together for women. I said, I'm in. He already told me. And she looked, you are? I said, oh yeah, he already told me today, this is what I'm doing. So as soon as you came in, I knew this was it. And so I've been with her 5 years, and we've been watching it grow and just riding the ride with it, and watching the women that it's touched. That's, I'll tear up, but that's probably the best part of the whole thing is after the conference. It could be Friday evening, it could be Saturday afternoon. People will come up and just say, oh, I've never experienced anything like that. Or, oh, I was in such a bad place. I'm so glad I came. And not everybody's in a bad place that comes, sometimes
Sure.
they're just coming because we need to be fulfilled back after we've given as women.
Yeah.
So that's just been the best part of the whole thing. The committee's awesome. We've had people come and go through the committee because of circumstances, taking care of kids
Of course.
or work and so forth. But it's just been a great thing to be involved in.
Do you see a repeat attenders over the past 5 years?
Oh yeah.
And are they coming back and bringing a gaggle of friends with them to say, hey,
yes.
look, I had this experience, you should too?
Yes.
And do you have some that have come back and said, okay, now I want to help serve
Yes.
and join onto the committees?
Yes.
And so I could see, where it would change from year to year. I've been on different boards for different organizations, the Reach organization. I'm involved when I can be. But sometimes it's for a season and sometimes it is just for a season.
Right.
Really.
Right.
Because we all go through seasons.
Yes, like one person that was on our committee took a break because she was getting her master's, and it was just she felt like she couldn't give it 100%. So, but she's back this year,
That's awesome.
to serve. And again, our committee, it's all about community. And Tris said, you may feel like you're all full of hope. You don't need it, but God can use you when you come.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And we had that the very first year. We had women that reached out to other women and not just loving on them and telling them they were glad they were here, and it literally blessed them so much.
Absolutely.
We'll learn more about this organization and the event itself at
I put the link in there.
HopeEncounterMinistries.com. You can get to where you purchase your tickets. I think you guys you have appointments, don't you? Or do you want to stay with us for a little bit longer? It's up to you.
Whatever.
All right.
Why
We'll be
have
right back.
Thousands of aspiring authors teamed up with Christian Faith Publishing to publish their book. Because Christian Faith Publishing is an author-friendly publisher who understands that your labor is more than just a book. We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process, professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures in the publishing industry. And as always, you will retain 100% of the rights to your book.
I was looking to find a company that I could trust, one that assisted in the editing process completely.
The most important
the qualities that I was looking for was a publisher who was honest and upfront, no hidden costs or fees, and owning the rights to my own work.
Christian Faith Publishing will publish, market, and sell your books in all major bookstores, online booksellers, as well as specialty Christian bookstores. Call for your free author submission kit.
800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. That's 800-978-4812.
Remember Helen Kerwin? As county commissioner, she raised the tax rate over 95%, increased taxes, utility rates, connection fees, and pushed to give the state even more taxing authority. Well, Helen Kerwin's back, handpicked by the Washington swamp to push a voucher scheme that takes funds away from our local schools and gives taxpayer-funded private school vouchers to illegal immigrants. They'd even go to the front of the line ahead of U.S. citizens and legal residents. It's the very same voucher scheme Dwayne Burns stopped last year before delivering the largest tax cut in Texas history, the strongest border security plan in America, and new laws to protect our kids at school and online. Dwayne Burns is the real conservative who puts our community first. He won't be bullied by powerful politicians or D.C. special interest groups because he doesn't work for them. He works for us. Political ad paid for by the Dwayne Burns campaign.
JoCo Community Radio. Listen live at tunein.com.
NTX Radio, formerly JoCo Community Radio, is a member of EMG, a radio and podcast collective. We are live 365 on the TuneIn Radio Network and our station app. Download it for free. Check out our lineup and more at ntxradio.com. We thank our valued partners in helping us amplify the voices of North Texas. Be sure to connect with Todd Hurd and Associates, attorneys at law, for your civil law needs at texasattorneylaw.com. Use code JOCO 2024 for 25% off your first order at thetiffy.com. Processing credit cards? Join the Swipe Nation today and save on processing fees at swipenationusa.com. Locally owned and operated. Are you ready to deliver the right message to the right people at the right time? Reach out to us at ntxradio.com at t.hurd at ntxradio.com for advertising rates as low as $50 a month.
Welcome back to the second half of JoCo Vibes here on NTX Radio. I'd say go to ntxradio.com to learn more, and you can go there. It just still looks like JoCo Community Radio because I haven't gotten that far with my own, I only have two arms, so I'm working at it and changing it. But we, again, if you're just joining us in the second half, Kim Kimble and Tris Fitzgibbons with Hope Encounter Ministries. I mean, I want to make sure people understand this is not just an event. This is an ongoing ministry.
Yeah. What else do y'all do during the rest of the year when you're not having the conference?
Well, obviously we plan the conference,
Right.
which takes a lot,
Right.
but we're also everyone is active in other areas.
Yep. I would say, we're very active in the community and different things, involved with women's ministry through Bible studies and things like that. And sometimes, I shouldn't say sometimes, but my husband and I are also in a group Bible study. But even through work, I mean, that's a ministry in itself. It's just, whoever the Lord brings me is who I'm going to work with and going to help them, guide them, the right way. And I would say Kim does the same thing in her business. So we're fortunate that we get to be out in the community and be in business and just talk about, God and whatever's going on with somebody if they have a need.
That's awesome. I love that. I'm women's ministry is near and dear to my heart. I was the first. So there's a group in Waxahachie called BRA, and it's Believing Restoration is Attainable. And their tagline is support the ladies. Well, I was, and it's for divorced and widowed women. You get to a place and you're like, I don't even know what to do. I don't even know where to find my bank account information, all the things. Right.
Right.
And they create, I was the first one, and a lady saw a need, and she created this whole ministry. And that's how it happens. You know, you see a need, and then you're like, this person's not the only one.
Right.
Just because I was the first one doesn't mean I'm the only one.
Right.
And so it's become a huge ministry for all these ladies. Like, I'm still in the group, and it's amazing. It's been going for, I've been divorced 12 years, I think, something like that. And, you know, that's incredible. They're not doing conferences like this, but they have a monthly brunch, you know, like
Right.
this is awesome. I need to get them to connect with you guys.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like Kim said, we always have a speaker about their ministry at our event so that other people are aware of what's out there,
Sure.
because we do support other groups. We're part of Next Step in different, various ways. We help with that.
Yeah, we have actually ministry, local ministry tables at our conference, so women can actually. Oh, I didn't know they offered that or whatever. So,
Sure.
Celebrate Recovery is
Right.
really big.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
it is life changing.
Great organization.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, and then we have Next Step Women's Center, and I know Harvest House has been there a time or two. And 88.3 The Journey always supports us.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Danae's always on board, and we have a surprise for everybody relating to her this year. So they need to get their tickets.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Ooh.
exciting.
Yeah.
Can I read a testimony
Yes.
that's
Yes.
on your website?
Yes.
This is from Cynthia A. And it says, from the moment I sat down until the conference began, I was approached by 3 to 4 women whom I've never met, all drawn to me by God, each telling me that God had put me on their heart. The words spoken confirmed what I had been feeling. I had lacked faith and had fear for so long, I'd lost all hope. I doubted my self-worth and feared what my future held. I was consumed by hate, anger, and looking for justice that would never come. For almost 2.5 years, I was tortured daily with excruciating pain that had no scale. I was living in hell. Until I came here, God used the women here as vessels to deliver his message to me that changed my life. I was like fear was lifted for it was like fear was lifted from me all at once. I was instantly filled with love from women I didn't know. I felt peace that I hadn't felt in a very long time, and I had hope for my future. At that point, I knew everything was going to be okay. My pain started to subside. I could sit in the chair without much pain. I wasn't angry. I wasn't afraid, nor did I care to seek revenge. I heard God say, "Let it go. Vengeance is mine. I will repay," says the Lord. That's when I knew the chains were broken and I was free. I know now that the victory is mine. Thank you, Hope Encounter, for bringing us together. To the ladies who prayed over me, thank you for listening to your heart and acting on it. Thank you to my friend who has compassion for others and saw that my spirit needed to be revived. You saw in me what I thought I'd lost. Thank you for inviting me. That gave me goosebumps.
We love it.
That
Yes.
gave me goosebumps.
That's what makes it worth it.
Right.
There's an additional speaker this year, because there's usually a spotlight speaker, and this year it happens to be you, Kimble, the founder of Hope Encounter Ministries. Give us just a tidbit of what you're going to be talking about.
Well, the ministry spotlight is just really spotlighting local ministries. And the committee, I can't remember exactly who said, a lot of people don't know how Hope got started or anything about the person that started it. So I'm going to be speaking a little bit and just giving the story that in 2018, I really had a pivotal moment, and I knew something needed to be done. 57 years old, it just goes to show, God can use you at any age.
Absolutely.
But I wanted to do what I was assigned, not what I was assumed to
Right.
do. So, so I
That's
did.
Say that again.
Yeah.
Say that again, because I think that's so important for people all people, men and women, but most definitely women really need to hear, because we grow up and we're raised. If you're raised in a church, if you're raised in faith, you're raised to know I'm going to get married and I'm going to have a family, and you're raised to think that it's going to happen in this order. I'm going to graduate high school. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to meet the man of my dreams. And then we're going to get married, and it's going to be a fairy tale, and we're going to have children. And I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom.
Right.
And a lot of women are absolutely trained
And how do you deal with
to
when that
think
doesn't
that.
work?
Well, it
Right.
didn't work. None of that worked
Right.
for me.
I understand.
So
Right.
anyway, but when God calls you and he assigns you something, I always heard that if you don't answer, he goes to the next person.
Yeah.
And so anyway, yes, I think it's important that we do what we're assigned
Yep.
and not what we're assumed to do.
That's so good.
Right.
That is and I think those assumptions are made most of the time for us.
Mhm.
It's not just our own assumption that you're going to be this, but they're
Right.
made for they're so made for women who are
Right.
trained to think a certain way. And I'm not trying to put blame in any one place, but we have to help women untrain the brain of thinking
Right.
that it's okay to be a mom and a business owner, to be an entrepreneur. It's okay to want to have aspirations of leadership.
Yep.
Well,
Yes, even in a church,
Yes.
ladies,
well, or
you
when
Yes.
when you're raised a certain way, as I was, and you think you did it right, you did life right, quote unquote. I was a virgin when I got married. I waited until I was like, we were married 5 years till I got pregnant. Like we were doing all the things right. I was on the praise and worship team for however many umpteen years, and like you think you're doing it right, and I mean you're following all the rules. And then the world shifts and God causes you to go a different direction and you don't know where to go
Right.
and how to do it. But this is so good. This is so good what y'all are doing, because it reminds me of what I've gone through and what I've overcome, and that I didn't have to live in that assumed life because it was taken from me.
Right.
And now I can do something that I was assigned to do instead.
Right.
Man, that's good.
Mhm.
Man, Kim, I'm gonna use that phrase a lot. I want to do what I was assigned, not assumed to do.
Yes.
Man, that's good.
I think about we're talking about women, and I think it's important that if you are a woman interested in going to this event, or you are going to this event, bring your daughters.
Yes.
I think this
very
is
much.
super, super important, because if you are in a season of overcoming, you can, in that moment of overcoming, give those lessons to your own daughter, because they're watching us.
Yes.
And they're learning
Right.
from us. And you don't think it, because they're not always going to talk to you, but they're watching everything that we do from a young age, and behaviors, the things that you allow others to do to you. And so they too need to be trained at the same time into a different type of thinking, and to also understand that they have to figure out for themselves how their life is going to go forward.
Right.
It's not always when you think it's going to happen.
What you think it's supposed
Yeah.
to be.
Right.
When you follow the rules, you think it's going to be this picture, and it just doesn't.
Well, I mean,
happen
I
that way
don't know.
for
I don't know
so
what
many
those
of us.
rules are, though. I mean, because I
Right.
was raised different, right? I was raised on the East Coast. I was raised in a Bible church and a Baptist church. I went to a Catholic school simultaneously. So I grew up in a 99% Jewish, Orthodox Jewish town.
Right.
So you had a Protestant girl going to a Catholic school where nuns didn't like you because you knew the Bible.
Right.
I am not even joking. I'm not even joking. And I had amazing, wonderful friends of all nationalities, and I grew up with, there's 7 of us. And life did not happen normal. If you grew up around any large family, life just does not happen like I think is it the Duggars
Yeah,
that had
That's
that
the
big
one
show?
with the
Yes.
20
It's a perfect
people,
example to
20
say
20 kids.
that
Things
was
change.
television, people.
Things
As you
change.
saw how it all, came crashing down at some point. So what you see of somebody else's family, of this idea of, oh, what a perfect little family
Right.
they are.
No one knows what goes
You're
on
only
behind closed
seeing
doors.
you only get to see what people want to see. Now, if you came into my household growing up, you saw everything. There was nothing behind the curtains. Everything was laid out on the table. Everybody was welcome into our home. My parents were youth group leaders. Were they perfect? No, because everything was kept real. So I grew up different.
Right.
There wasn't anything hidden from it. But in that, I left home at 19 and moved to Florida, and my life began that way. And it didn't happen in that structured idea of, I'm going to do all these things and I'm going to get married and, whatever. I didn't get married until I was 29, as a matter of fact. I didn't have my first baby until I was 30. And at that time, my mom said to me, please love my mother, and she's in heaven. So, but she said crazy things. But this was this idea because she dropped out of high school at 16 and she went to beauty school. I mean, she was the quintessential, movie lines of that time. Got married at 18, had her first kid at 19, and had her sixth kid by the time she was 28. And I remember turning 28 going, my mom had 6 children at this age and a bonus daughter. There were 7 kids. And the idea of that, when I was 28, I was like, no wonder my mom was crazy. She was
Yes.
I mean,
there's a lot of kids too.
I do.
yeah, right. I mean,
Five.
there was one of the best things I ever read was a devotional that I had, and it was a different type of devotional, and it was written by sisters, and actually I think it was called Sisters. And I got to a point in this book, and it said, and it was for that day, it was know your parents' why. And so I read this whole thing. I closed that book and never opened it again. I was like, that's what I needed from it. And it wasn't so much about me knowing, because I did know. I knew my mom's why since I was, probably 10, 11 years old. And so I knew what she went through. And so having that understanding of where your parents come from helps you understand why they are the way they are, right? So when I was, 25, 26, my mom would go, if you don't hurry up, you're going to be a spinster. And that's the word my mom used. A young mom, okay? She was in her 60s or 50. Was she late 50s? And I got to keep it all together. I don't know how old she was at the time. But I was like, Mom, are you kidding me? I'm 26 years old. Like, I have plenty of time in front of me. And now I look at my cousins, and of course she was happy because I waited and, married, and I've been married for 23 years. And so, but I was able to look at that and go, without getting angry, I had to look back and go, okay, wait, she started we'll call it adulthood, quote unquote adulthood, when she dropped out at 16, 17 and having her first kid at 18. She was young. And so there's a lot of women out there that started that way. And then there's a lot of women that started late. So my message in all of that is bring your daughters, bring them and start raising them up in hope right now. And living in joy and choosing joy, because that's again, if you're just joining us, that's the message for this year's conference.
Though we've been indoors for the night, joy comes in the morning.
Joy is like, but when's the morning? I'm like, really think about that.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's all God's timing, not
that's
ours.
right.
Right.
That's right. So be sure, again, if you're joining us just now, go to hopeencounterministries.com to get your tickets for this year's Hope Encounter
right here in Burleson
conference.
Texas.
Yes, it's going to be at the Pathway Church, June 7th and 8th. It begins in the evening. There's going to be food trucks on Friday night, so you can go out and purchase your own food that evening, right? But breakfast,
They'll actually get a ticket.
they'll get a
Yeah,
ticket.
so
They can
dinner
use
will
at
be
the food truck of
provided.
their choice.
Oh, fantastic!
So it's part of their ticket.
That's
basically.
That's
great.
amazing.
Their
We
purchase
build
ticket.
value.
How many different food trucks are you
We're-
having this
We're
year?
just having 2.
2. Okay.
So it gives them a little choice,
Who
of
is
Yeah.
what- It is hibachi,
Ooh.
a hibachi grill, and a taco truck.
There's a
You can-
hibachi
Food truck.
food truck.
Mm-hmm.
Sign
And you
me
can
up.
never go wrong with a taco truck.
No, never.
I love
Never.
tacos.
Yeah, me too. Me
So
Christina, I don't know if Christina Scherer, I can't remember if you actually went to this when you lived here. She's moved to Arizona. Good morning, Brenda Gammon. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please be sure to share this conference with all the women that you know. Share the link, get your tickets, bring your friends, and because I think it's really important that you get to hear Kim Kimble's story. I think it's really important. So, and we're trying not to tell too much of it here because we don't want you to hear it until you get to the conference. But it is Thankful Thursday, by the way.
yes.
So let's talk about what we're thankful for today. Kim, you want to start?
No, she's like, no.
Well, I know you brought
She always
out of
does
the-
that to me. She
out of
goes,
the
puts me on first. I'm like,
out of the scenario of what you were saying, what's assumed and the perfect life and the timing and all that. Today is my son's 46th birthday.
Oh, wow.
And he probably wouldn't like me saying that, but happy birthday to him.
I can't even
That's
believe you
awesome.
have a 46-year-old.
So that
I'm
is
serious. That blows.
part of my story,
Okay.
and I wouldn't change a thing.
That's
So,
amazing.
I love it. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Mhm.
Tris?
Yes. So I'm probably most thankful for the fact that I get to do what God's shown me to do, my assignment. Because like everyone else, I didn't start out. This is, what I started doing was not what I thought I would do. And then it changed. So again, thankful for that. And I'm thankful for my family. It's no one's birthday today, which is shocking as big as my family is. There's usually a birthday all the time. But yes, I'm very thankful for my business, my kids, my husband.
Okay, so you said big. How many kids do you have?
So I have 5 children.
Oh, God bless you.
We say 9 because I've got extras.
Of course.
They're married. So,
Mhm.
and then we have extras on top of that. We started gathering extras when my husband and I were helping with youth when we were younger and our kids were really little. We were doing teenage youth. We loved the teenagers. And then as we weren't becoming grandparents, when we thought we should be, our assumption of our kids, we started adopting other kids who were having grandkids for us.
Right. That's awesome.
So yeah, we've got a lot going on, and yeah, I'm so thankful for it. So thankful that our family is our friends too.
I ran into Gary, who has the Burleson Residents Talking
Mhm.
Facebook page that he does just such a great job with. I ran into him and his family yesterday at lunch, and they had a brood of grandkids with them, and they're like, "Yep, the 11th one's on the way." And I'm looking at them going, "I know we're all around the same age. I mean, we have to be." And I've got a 13-year-old. I have a near 21-year-old, a 19-year-old, and I have one who just graduated 8th grade. And I go, man, I'm behind. Like I am
Yeah,
seriously behind, but I'm not.
No,
Timing
you're
is
not. You're
different.
I'm not.
Yep.
I mean, I feel like the stage of grandparenting has become so much younger for my generation. And now I'm thinking, I'm like, that's okay. I'm starting a trend that
Yeah.
grandparenting, when I become a grandparent, is going to be back to that picture it was when I was a kid, right? When you looked at your grandparents, although they really weren't old either,
Right.
you were like, because they were only in their 50s. My grandparents were in their 50s. Like I remember being at my grandmother's.
My father was 48 when I was born.
Right. I mean, it's just a completely different
Yeah.
idea. So I love to hear that. Sarah, what are you thankful for?
Well, since I've mentioned it, I'm thankful for Bra believing restoration is attainable, support the ladies and all the things that they've been able to do to encourage women who were in the middle of their world changing. And I'm so thankful to have been the founding inaugural member, I guess. I don't know, but I mean, it really has changed so many lives, and I'm thankful to have been the light for them.
Fantastic.
Mhm.
I'm thankful. I mean, I'm thankful for quite a few things, to
Right.
be
Too many
honest. I
things
mean,
to
it's
list.
many things, but I mean, truly, right now I'm in a season of, I'm always in a season of gratitude for my family and health and positions
Yes.
and revelations and what our kids are figuring out for themselves. But I'm really thankful for this opportunity, because I like you had that assumption of and my husband had an assumption of you're going to be out on tour and you're going to be doing all this stuff with music, and he still has those things of what do you think you'd be doing if you didn't have the radio station? And I'm like, I mean, I don't know.
Mhm.
Like, I really don't know. He goes, well, I think that you'd be out on tour and blah, blah. He still talks about it. And I've tried to walk away from the radio station a few different times after I took it over. I really did. I was like, I'm done, God. I'm like, there are too many challenges with, taking this over after Pam passed away. And I tried to run away and God said, no. He was like, no, you have too many things. And it turned out to, and I think you and I have talked about this before because Lisa, who used to have a show here, I literally saw her through a window and was like, I got to go talk to her. And it was like, Tanya said to me, she said, it was like God lifted, it was like you were lifted out of the chair and you really didn't have control. And when I approached her about doing a faith-based show after hearing her talk at a women's conference, she said, oh, okay, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to sound that good on radio. And so it just kind of, it went from there. And so it became things like that, that I waited and talked to. If I was approaching somebody else about doing a show, it wasn't just a guess. I waited and it always turned out to be some sort of ministry that was just absolutely powerful. And it's brought
awesome.
opportunity in people like Kim to the table, and who doesn't forget about us. You always come back and ask. And I've got other ideas for you. But we'll talk about that off air. And so I'm really thankful for that, because it brings awareness, it brings conversation, and conversations of hope and joy need to continue. I don't know if you've ever seen anybody who's really positive on social media. And I mean,
Right.
like actually is.
Right.
They're sharing the good stuff all the time.
Right.
And those people will have haters who will message them and go, I'm so tired of hearing your positivity. And I'm so tired. I'm so tired of seeing how great your life is. And that person has then responded, no one ever said my life is great.
You have no idea what's happening.
You have no idea what's happening back here, but who wants to hear that crap?
Right.
You don't want to hear that part of my life all the time.
Nope.
You want to hear how I'm feeling hopeful, how I'm still triumphant each day. I get up, I let my feet hit the floor. I thank God that my feet are hitting the floor every day, and I get to live another day to try and figure it out. So, so we have to have these conversations, because I mean, I get sad when I hear people say stuff like that. Like, all I hear is their good stuff. That's all they're putting out there.
And,
okay.
And a lot of times we're putting that out there because we're talking to ourselves, like I can put positive stuff out there because I needed it, because I've been dealing with this, or I just needed a little bit of encouragement. And I thought maybe you would appreciate that too.
That's all we have is our experience. To share. So.
Absolutely. All right. Any last thoughts before we close this show down for the week? We've got tons of shows today, by the way. Tris?
Well, I would add, you do not have to be in church or involved with a church or have ever been in church to come to this conference.
Nor do you have to be someone that has any kind of depth in faith.
Correct.
You might be new to it. Maybe you just want to learn, okay, what's working for all these other women.
Right. So I would invite everybody, just come, bring your friends, that maybe need this, maybe they don't realize they need it, but you think they do. Just bring them, invite them, and then they'll be loved on, and then they'll get to see what hope means, and then the hope is in Jesus. And then that's really what we're there to show. It's not our own hope. It's really the hope that we have because of who Jesus is.
I will lift up my eyes to the hills.
I have to tell you, I'd like to hear Cynthia's whole story someday.
Yes.
I really would. So you should maybe talk to her about that. Again, go to hopeencounterministries.com to get your tickets and find out other ways that you can support in case you're not in town. And have an amazing day, guys. Stay tuned. We got tons of shows today. God bless and be kind.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, JoCo Community Radio.
School choice. Sweet-sounding words from sweet-sounding groups like the American Federation for Children. Well, the truth is alarming. These are the people caught marketing private school vouchers to illegal immigrants in Arizona. And they want to do the same in Texas. But Dwayne Burns said no. And that's why they're targeting him in this election. The voucher program they're pushing is a magnet for illegal immigration. Fully qualified to receive these $10,000 vouchers, illegal aliens would go to the front of the line ahead of U.S. citizens. These groups want to replace Dwayne Burns with a rubber stamp. And they've got one in Helen Kerwin. Kerwin has pledged to support this voucher scheme if elected. But we can't let that happen. Dwayne Burns' top priority is border security. He's stopped taxpayer-funded handouts to illegal aliens. And he's endorsed by every law enforcement association in Texas. Political ad paid for by the Dwayne Burns campaign.